This is a trade recap for Wednesday, April 1st, 2026. Number 5 of 10 for phase 3 of one and done. One and done is an exercise where we basically limit ourselves to one singular trade in the day and then we call it done. This is an exercise for developing consistency, discipline, and working on different trouble points, pain points that you have with your day trading. This is something that Pat Mitchell, my coach and mentor, came up with, and something that I have been doing now for a couple months. So it's one of those things where it's been an interesting process. Currently using 3 to 5 contracts for size, and basically as we progress in this, we work to size up. So as for today, pretty normal-ish day. Another gap up. Price action was not too bad. Did have to exercise a little bit of patience. Levels were a little far away, but all in all, pretty straightforward day. One minor issue on my part, which we'll get into a little bit later. But all in all, still happy with the day. Trying to think of anything else. Yeah, can't really think of anything else. But if you are a new or struggling day trader and you're looking for a coach or a mentor, I do highly recommend that you find one, and a good one at that. Myself personally, I use Pat Mitchell. He runs Trick Trades. That is his education service. He's been at this for over a decade now and proves day in, day out that he knows exactly what he's doing. So if you are interested in learning how to do this in the appropriate manner, he is who you should be learning from. You can find his site at tricktrades.com. You can go over there and read over the site, his backstory and where he came from, and again, what is offered there. But there really is no one better to learn from if you're taking this seriously and want it as a career. Now, that is a education service, not an alert service, so just have, again, the right expectations there. If you want kind of a sampling of the information he offers and puts out there, you can jump over to his YouTube channel. He's been doing this, like I said, for over a decade. There's over 1,700 videos on his page now, so there's a wealth of information there. There will be a lot for you to put together on your own, so good luck with that if you want to attempt to do that. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this morning's live recording. All right, so here we are. This is about 10 seconds before the open. If you're new here, kind of lay of the land, we only trade SPY and Qs. We don't trade any other tickers. So again, that helps simplify things, and it's also, again, 2 of the most liquid ETFs, or has the most volume and interest. So again, everything just works. You don't have to worry about the other BS you do in, again, low flow, penny stock, or any of that crap. So yes, just SPY, just Qs. And the way I have mine set up is very similar to the way Pat has his set up. Right here, you'll see on the left, these 2 charts are the daily charts. So each candle is 1 day. And here's the 1-minute intraday chart. And then over here, I have my order execution on the right. That's just kind of how I like it. Other people have it tweaked a little bit differently, but that's what I like. I like it all on one screen so I can watch it. These blue levels you see here are the levels that Pat develops for us starting the night before and refining the morning of a trade session. And once they are set, they do not change for any reason whatsoever. Again, this is what our trade plan that Pat puts together is based around. It's based around these levels that he selects. Now, you'll also see on here red dashed risk levels. That's just a personal preference of mine. I like a visual cue to my risk. That's it. So like I said, this is about 10 seconds before the open. You can see we're in between these 2 lines on Qs and these 2 levels on SPY. Little wide, but again, that is the conditions of the market right now. So that's what you have to work with. Go ahead and hit play. So here's the open, and then again, most things where, since we're opening up right in the middle, just got to kind of see, does it lean more towards one direction versus the other to help, again, get us kind of set up for our orders. Again, you don't want to wait for it to come to the level to start monkeying with your orders. You want to do it beforehand. As you can see, again, we have to demonstrate some patience, so I probably will speed this up a little bit just to not belabor what's going on. And again, if I find something that's kind of interesting level, just to keep an eye on, sometimes I'll just draw on the chart. TradingView has this little drawing tool. It's really handy for that, to kind of just keep track of some stuff, but don't overclutter your chart. So if I step forward, you can see Qs is kind of coming down, but SPY's coming up, so there's a little bit of divergence there. Now SPY starts kind of reacting in the same direction, and they both kind of move up. Yeah, we're not trading off of that yellow level. That's just a level of interest that I wanted to keep an eye on and keep track of. We only trade off of generally the blue levels. The one exception to that is moving averages. We don't mark out moving averages, especially the 5 or 9, because they do move around a bit. So you just step. As you can see, we're kind of working our way up. And generally like to get, again, for me and where I am right now, 50 cents or less in terms of distance to a level before potentially initiating a trade, depending on what else is going on. As you can see, Qs is coming up a little bit sooner than SPY is to its level. So it's one of those things where, again, there's some capacity there for SPY to move up into its level and pull Qs higher. So it's something you just, again, one of the things you need to keep track of and watch out for. So I went ahead and entered there. It was maybe, I don't know, about half a second late on that entry. So again, one of the polish points I've been working on. Still work in progress there. So yeah, we just kind of wait, see what it does. Moves a little bit closer. Now here's where, again, kind of the issue I had is I should have added and corrected and built, like, again, established basically my full size starter. But for whatever reason, I didn't on Qs. So it's one of those things where that's the main, I would say, quote unquote, issue. Kind of trying to be that perfectionist and wait for the level itself, which again, sometimes I'll do it, sometimes I won't. So again, try to be a little bit better on that front. So yeah. So as you can see, it came really close, but I didn't get the exact level. And that's like, oh, I want the level exactly. It's like, nah, I didn't need to do that because, again, sometimes it's not going to give you the exact level, like I just said. So step forward. And then again, since I didn't add there, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, so like, should have, yeah. SPY, did SPY have more room to come up? Yes, it did. But also has this high right here on the pre-market range, kind of. So it's kind of, again, that's where it's reacting from. So it's one of those things where, again, you find these little lessons and little tweaks that you need to do every day, and then you, again, commit to making those changes to really put all the pieces together and kind of up your game. So you can see, again, getting that initial reaction. Went ahead and sold my 1 on that. So it's one ads, got that first reaction, sold into it. Again, got $19 per contract. Yes, it was just 1 contract. And yes, I should have added average and done all that stuff. When it came closer to that level, just didn't. So that is just, like I said, a tweak I need to do. But again, just I step forward to see how this ultimately plays out. I was kind of waiting to see when it would come back up to really put in that test. But again, this thing just ended up, it's kind of selling off. I mean, honestly. So again, I was in at, I think 290 was where I bought that contract. And again, as you see right now, it's at like 458. So one of those things, well, people will look at that in terms of like, oh, you left so much on the table, but no, not necessarily. You got to trade, again, to targets and things like that. Just grab some screenshots right there and follow your trade plan. So I'll say, if you're constantly chasing money and you're so money focused that you forget about the process, you're going to blow up. You might have your wins, but ultimately in the end, you will blow up because you're just, again, you're feeding that greed mentality. And this is something, again, having a coach really helps out with, because he will harp on this day in, day out to let you know, be like, hey, you're not doing this right. So I'll go ahead and step forward some more. Let's see how this plays. Comes down, kind of starts playing with the opening price area. starts coming back up a little bit. And then it starts kind of messing around and is like trying to figure out exactly what the hell it wants to do. Kind of comes back up, and again, that's the end of that. So go back to the actual chart. So as you can see, again, came back up into the level ultimately. Entry. So as we coming up, entered in with the 1, and then should have added as we were getting close, but again, being the perfectionist today for some reason, didn't do that. So should have been an add right there, which would have brought the average down to there again, and that would have been, again, a more proper trade, because it's one of those things where, again, would have peeled the 1 off in that initial, again, reaction, kept 1 on and pulled it off, again, coming down probably into some point like down in here. So it's one of those things where we're down into here again, where you would find those, support and resistance levels that are intraday. And that's how you kind of just do that. It's one of those things where that's where the tweak needs to be made. That's where it needs to be made. So again, now make it. That's all you got to do. And you have to be consistent with it and build it in, each and every day, so it becomes a habit. And once you do that, then this, again, once you have that issue put together, you move on to the next issue. And that's kind of this entire process in terms of like learning and being proficient at day trading, is identifying these issues and then working each one until you, again, more or less put it to bed and it's no longer an issue and you're consistent with it, and then moving on to the next. And then rinse and repeat until basically you figure out all the issues. Because one of the things Pat kind of goes over with us is that, again, this is more or less a game of infinite discipline and infinite consistency. Or to put another way, can you have 100% discipline and 100% consistency 100% of the time as human beings? That's pretty hard to do. Now, if you are, say, 95% consistent, again, is that enough? And it's a point where it's like, again, there's certain, like thresholds, like once you're consistent enough, while you're not trying to necessarily chase perfection, because obviously that's a futile effort. By being disciplined and consistent and striving for those higher levels of discipline and consistency, that is what really, again, makes the difference. Especially when, again, you have a strategy and a trade plan. Both are solid, proven to work, no issues there. It's sorting those things out in yourself that will ultimately lead to your success. Or if you don't, it will lead to your failure. And it is really that simple. Even though, again, sometimes one thing where people would like, you have to pay a coach to tell you that. And it's like, yeah, sometimes you do. And some of us are, again, we have different mentalities, different frames of mind, and different issues. So it's one of those things like, this is all a very unique case. So kind of having that opportunity to do a one-on-one to, again, bounce off like issues, ideas, things like that, things you understand, misunderstand. Again, that is the value of a coach right there, to guide you through all that. And it's worth its weight in gold, honestly. So just my 2 cents there. All in all, it's a good day. Did reveal, again, a couple tweaks that need to be made. But that's the name of the game. Again, still a good day. Green trade. Followed, again, process minus the, again, minor issue there. But all in all, I could be happier. Honestly, again, it seems like a small win. Again, making $20. Was that really, again, worth it? And the answer is yes. Because it's just another bit of experience, another bit of education, a little bit more polishing of the skills day in, day out. And that's ultimately, when you stack that all together, is what moves the needle. So if you're looking for that coach and mentor that can, again, really help you with this kind of stuff and putting all these pieces together, I recommend Pat Mitchell over at tricktrades.com. If you want a discount on your first month of membership, so you can try it out, check the description below. There'll be a couple links down there. And hopefully we'll see you in the service. If not, all good. Other than that, I think that is all I have. So have a good day. Later.